Well, I was crawling around the underside of the Oldsmobile here the other day and greasing stuff up and looking around, and I noticed a few little things. First thing I noticed was this ball joint here. I believe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. That boot is completely split down the middle, so that's not really a good thing. It doesn't seem to be loose at all, but yeah, not very good. The upper one don't look a whole lot healthier. No, she's split too. So looks like perhaps ball joints are in my future. Like I said, nothing seems to be loose there, but they're cracked. So the other thing I noticed, which kind of worried me, was this tire on the driver's side. That's the first one I saw, and it's all the way down to the cords here on the inner edge. So when I saw that, I went over to the other tire to take a peek at that, and as you can see, it's worn here on the inside too, but it's not quite as bad as the other side, but it's just about the same. So it looks like I am going to have an alignment on it, but before I do that, I'll probably see if I can get myself a couple of ball joints. The ones on this other side didn't look too bad. I know I can get lowers. I looked around quick and I found them. I don't know about the uppers. Yeah, this side these were okay, I think. Maybe that upper one's split, I don't know. But I may go ahead and just do both sides. And then I was looking around a little more, and I noticed that the control arm bushings look like they've seen better days. Yeah, they all look like that. All four of them cracking, coming apart. So, thinking while I'm under there doing that, I may do control arm bushings as well. I'm sure I can get those. Yeah, the other one, not good either. But for today, just so I can move it around, and when I get new tires, I'm going to go ahead and take this one off and put the spare on there. Hopefully it's really old, so and hopefully it still holds air. We'll put that new tire on, or that spare on, and get a new tire for this, and then probably at some point in the future do the other side. But for right now, I got to price out parts for ball joints and everything, so we'll wait on getting an alignment. But tires today, well, I've got the tire off, and ooh, she ain't pretty at all. She was probably pretty close to going boom while I was driving, so good thing I got it off. And I suppose one more thing to note about these older cars. Some of these older cars, I should say, they're not all like this, but I don't know if you can see that nice big R stamped into the wheel stud. That means it's a right-hand thread. The other side has an L in it. It means the left-hand thread. So when you're working on these old cars, keep that in mind. They might actually be backwards from what you're used to. I had that happen to my cousin when I was a little kid. He bought a 63 or 64 Impala, and you know, it was a junk one. And he went out to take the wheels off one day, and they were rusted on, and he ended up snapping off 3 of them before he gave up. And looking back on it, I'm thinking he may have had left-hand threads, and he was trying to take them off the wrong way, or they could have been rusted, I don't know. But that car's long since gone. But figured I'd mention that. My brother's Dodge is the same way. I haven't seen it too much on newer vehicles, but it's not to say they don't exist somewhere. And now that I got that tire off, we're ready to put on the spare. I'm pretty sure this one's been in there a while. Yeah, 8.8514. I'll go to the parts store or the tire store and try to buy one of them, huh? Deluxe Champion Firestone. Oh. Well, hopefully it'll hold air. I'm not gonna really drive on it. I just want to make it so it rolls while I get a new tire for it. But we'll slap that on, put some air in it if it holds, and then I'll take this one uptown, or have my old man do it during the week, and get a new tire put on. Well, there we go. Tire's on. Appears to be holding air. No, obviously I'm not going to run it like this. I'm just putting it on here so I can roll it out of the shop. But I'll go up and get a new tire tomorrow, or have my old man do it because I'll be working tomorrow. But get a new tire, and then I suppose I'll go online now and look for suspension components and see what that's going to cost me. The car's going to cost me a small fortune, I think, but yeah, it'll be worth it. It's a fun car. Well, let's back her out of here. Make sure not to hit nothing. B, stay out of my rig, B. I'll kill you. Good brakes. Forgot how good they were when they're working. Alright, time to park her. Yeah, I wonder how much the parts are going to run me. I'm guessing it won't be cheap. Well, apparently it is exceedingly difficult to find a 215/75/14 tire that isn't a trailer tire. And it's even worse if you want to try to find one with a white wall. I did manage to find them. Coker Tire, I believe it was, makes them. But they are ungodly expensive, and I have not fixed the issue that's causing this tread wear, so I don't want to spend that kind of money to put a tire on that's just going to do that again. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to change to a slightly different size and get a black wall version just to get it, you know, so I can drive it around. And then once I've got the issue fixed here, and probably next year I might spring for an actual nice white wall, you know, right size and everything. But I'm going to switch down to a 215/70/14. I can find those with a black wall, and I'll probably throw a set on the front, because a set of two with a black wall, different size, costs about as much as one of these correct tires. So I'll probably go that route for now. Another thing I was looking at the car, and maybe it was just the way I was looking at it, but it almost looked like the driver's side front sat a little bit lower than it should be. Maybe, I don't know, I have to check the height there, which I'll probably pull it in and show you how I'm going to do it. But if the spring is sagging, that could explain a lot of this tread wear here, because I don't know if you've ever seen a car jacked up on one of them lifts, or you know, jacked up in your garage. They have a tendency to go out when you jack them up, like this. And obviously when the springs are sagging, the car sits lower, and your tire kind of does one of these numbers and tilts to the inside. And that would explain a lot of this. And also when it tilts to the inside, it's trying to make the distance between the two tires down here where the tie rod sits a little bit longer. And since there's big tie rod in there, you can't make it any longer, so what it's going to do is it's going to tilt in, and it's going to toe out just a little bit. And that could very well explain this, all this wear. The ball joints, you know, the boots are bad on them, on a couple of them, but they're still tight. They still feel tight. And tie rods and everything still feel tight, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check that spring height. I've got the spec in the owner, or the repair manual that I've got for it. And we'll just see if we're even close. If I need new springs, I'll get new springs and switch it all out when I've got it. And we'll burn up a set of cheapy tires in the meantime. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that in, and we'll look at the height and see what it looks like. Well, I guess I'll have to take back what I said about not being able to find this tire in this size with a white wall. I did a little more searching online, and I found a few different websites that had the tire listed. I found one that had a whole ton of these white walls listed in this size from various different manufacturers, and I was looking at them and I was going to order them, and then I thought, well, this is too good to be true. So I went ahead and I searched that website online and looked for the reviews, and turned out it had a ton of bad reviews, so I decided not to order from them. But there was one other website that had 6 of these white wall this size, and they had pretty much all good reviews. I didn't see a bad one. I'm sure there was one or two, but I didn't really look that hard. They were very good. So I went ahead and I ordered up 2 tires from there. They're supposed to be here late next week. We'll see how that goes, but until then, I suppose I will pull the car in and check the compressed spring height and see if my springs are really sagging. And then, if that's the case, search for springs. Well, here's how the book says to check the curb load, the compressed spring height there. And I've gone ahead and I've checked it. It's kind of hard to crawl under the car and show you because there's not a lot of room. But there is a small drain hole there on the bottom spring perch, and you shove a rod, or in my case a piece of wire, up through there until you hit the top here, and then you pull it, mark it, pull it out, and that'll give you the measurement you want. And I've done it several times on each side just to make sure I'm doing it right and I'm getting the same spot every time, and I keep getting 12 inches even on both sides, so they're level. That's a good thing. And my spec is 11 7/8 to 12 5/16, so I'm still within spec. Probably new springs would be closer to 12 5/16, but it's not way down like I thought it might be, so we're good there. I think maybe a lot of my wear might just be it's out of adjustment, needs an alignment, and all these bushings all over, you can see they're all cracked and they're old. Probably, if not original to the car, very old. So I believe I'm going to change those out sometime this winter when I do the engine, just because when I've got everything apart, you know, it's a lot easier to get where I need to get to. But I'll crawl under here quick and I'll try to show you where I'm measuring from under the car. It's going to be kind of tricky. There ain't a lot of room down here, but if you look under here, if you can see it, if I can get my light over, there is a drain hole right there, and that's right at the bottom of the spring perch. Not this drain hole, because there's 2 drain holes. So we put the rod in here, and it goes up through next to the spring, and there's a piece of metal at the top it stops at, and then you mark it and you pull it out, and that's your measurement. So measured out fine. So I think I'm just gonna start replacing the rubber parts in the front end and ball joints and whatnot, and see if that helps get it aligned this winter. Got my 2 tires on the way. Should be good. It's gonna be a lot of money to get this back in good shape, but we're gonna do it.